There is a painful truth most dog owners never see coming. Your dog can adore you, follow you everywhere, sleep beside your bed, and still feel confused, overstimulated, or emotionally unsafe because of habits that look completely normal inside a loving home. That is what makes this so hard. The damage usually does not come from cruelty. It comes from routines, from misunderstandings, from love expressed in a way your dog does not experience as love. And some of the signs are so subtle that people miss them for months. A dog that yawns and turns away. A dog that suddenly becomes clingy. A dog that stops trying to ask for anything at all. These moments do not always mean something is seriously wrong, but they do mean something is being communicated. This isn't a diagnosis, but it can help you tell the difference between normal attachment and behavior that may need support. Welcome to Mr. Hidden Mind, where we look beneath behavior and into the emotional life your dog cannot explain with words. Because sometimes the problem is not that your dog is bad. Sometimes the problem is that your dog is overwhelmed, conflicted, or quietly losing trust in the patterns of daily life. Let's go through 10 ways this happens, and more importantly, what to do instead. Number 1, you mistake excitement for happiness. Your dog sees the leash and starts spinning. You grab your keys and they start whining. You come home and they explode at the door like they have won the lottery. Most people look at that and think, my dog is so happy. Sometimes that is true. But excitement and emotional well-being are not the same thing. A dog can be thrilled and dysregulated at the same time. A dog can be eager and still not feel calm. A dog can look joyful while their nervous system is running too hot. This is where many owners get fooled. If your dog cannot stay settled before a walk, cannot pause before meals, cannot regulate when guests arrive, or cannot calm down after greeting you, what you may be seeing is not pure joy. It may be chronic over-arousal. And over time, over-arousal can spill into barking, pulling, frustration, reactivity, and difficulty being alone. A practical way to notice the difference is this. Healthy excitement rises, peaks, and comes back down. Unstable excitement lingers. It leaks into the next moment. It keeps the dog on. So, what helps? Start building tiny rituals of calm before the good stuff happens. Before opening the door, pause. Before clipping the leash, wait for one soft moment. Before greeting your dog after work, lower your energy instead of matching theirs. You are not reducing happiness. You are teaching your dog how to return to safety after stimulation, and that is one of the most valuable emotional skills a dog can learn. Number 2, you are physically close, but emotionally unavailable. Your dog is near you all day. They lie at your feet. They follow you from room to room. You assume that means connection is happening. But proximity is not the same as relationship. A lot of dogs live beside distracted humans. Humans who are always present but rarely tuned in. Always in the room but mentally somewhere else. Always touching the dog, out but not truly noticing the dog. And dogs notice that more than people think. A dog may bring you a toy and get no response. Rest their chin on your leg and get absent-minded petting. Stand by the door and get ignored because you are still scrolling. To us, these moments seem small. To the dog, they become a pattern. The pattern says being near you does not always mean being felt. One powerful insight here is that many dogs do not only need company, they need acknowledgement, eye contact, a calm word, a meaningful pause, a response that tells them, yes, I noticed you. You do not need to entertain your dog every hour. But if your dog repeatedly reaches out and gets nothing back, they may either escalate into nuisance behaviors or slowly stop trying. A better habit is simple. At least once or twice a day, give your dog a short window of undivided presence. No phone, no multitasking, no half attention. Just 2 to 5 minutes of full awareness. Watch how they approach you. Watch what relaxes them. Watch what they ask for. That kind of attention is often more regulating than an extra toy. Number 3, you correct the behavior, but miss the reason behind it. Your dog jumps. You say no. Your dog barks. You tell them to stop. Your dog shreds paper, steals socks, or has an accident, and all your focus goes to the action itself. But behavior is usually the last chapter, not the first. Underneath many unwanted behaviors is a state. Stress, boredom, conflict, confusion, a need that has gone unanswered too long. This is where owners lose enormous progress. Because if you only punish the surface, you never change the source. And take barking, for example. One dog barks because they are understimulated. Another barks because they are alarmed. Another barks because barking has worked before. Another barks because they have no other strategy when overwhelmed. Same behavior, different emotional engine. And if the engine is different, the solution must be different too. That is why smart dog care starts with a question, not a reaction. Not, how do I stop this? But, what is driving this? A useful real-life framework is this. Ask yourself 3 things. What happened right before it? What does my dog's body look like during it? What tends to happen after it? That tiny pause changes everything. Because once you stop treating every problem as disobedience, you start becoming someone your dog can actually learn from. Number 4, you keep taking away their choices. This one is easy to miss because many people think being a good owner means controlling everything. Where the dog goes, when they move, who touches them, when play starts, when play ends, when they must tolerate affection, when they must behave. Of course, dogs need guidance. Of course, they need structure. But they also need some control over their own experience. Choice is deeply regulating. When a dog can choose to step away, choose whether to approach, choose where to settle, choose how to engage, they often become calmer, not less obedient. Dogs that have no say in anything often become either resistant or shut down. This shows up in subtle ways. A dog that avoids hands reaching in. A dog that stops coming over on their own. A dog that freezes during grooming. A dog that allows things. Sits but never looks relaxed. That last one matters. Tolerance is not the same as comfort. One practical upgrade is to invite more consent into daily life. Before petting, pause and see if your dog leans in. During brushing, give short breaks. When guests want to interact, let your dog approach first. When training, let your dog earn success instead of being physically placed into position. A dog with some agency often becomes more confident, more cooperative, and easier to live with, because safety grows when control is shared, not removed. Number 5, you accidentally punish honesty. This may be one of the most important things in this entire video. Your dog growls when uncomfortable. You scold the growl. Your dog backs away from a child. You pull them closer. Your dog shows stress signals during handling. You ignore them because they have never bitten. But here is the hidden danger. When dogs tell the truth in small ways and those signals are punished, they do not become more comfortable. They become quieter. And quiet is not always safe. A growl is communication. Turning away is communication. Lip licking, freezing, whale eye, sudden sniffing, yawning in the wrong moment. All of these can be communication. These signals are your early warning system. If you teach your dog that honesty gets them corrected, you may end up with a dog who skips the warning next time. That is when people say, it came out of nowhere. Often, it did not. The signal was simply ignored, dismissed, or trained out. What helps instead? Respect the information. If your dog growls, do not punish first. Pause and ask why. What boundary is being crossed? What pressure is too high? What is making the dog feel cornered? Then create distance, lower intensity, and build comfort gradually. A dog who trusts that their signals matter is often a safer dog, not because they never feel discomfort, but because they do not have to escalate to be heard. Number 6, you make affection more about your needs than theirs. This is where many loving owners get blindsided. You want cuddles, you want kisses, you want your dog to lie a certain way, stay a certain way, receive your affection a certain way. And because your intentions are warm, you assume the interaction is warm for the dog too. But affection only builds trust when it is received as comfort, not pressure. Some dogs love body contact. Some prefer being near you without being held. Some want chest scratches, not face contact. Some like brief touch and then need space. A very common mismatch happens when owners keep touching a dog who has already subtly opted out. The dog turns their head. You pull them back in. The dog gets still. You think they are calm. The dog licks their lips and looks away. You think they are being sweet. That is how misunderstanding happens. A better question is not, am I showing love? It is, how does my dog best receive love? This is where observation becomes powerful. Does your dog soften and lean into touch? Do they come back for more? Do they exhale, stretch, and melt into your hand? That is useful information. Real connection is not about more affection. It is about better matched affection. And when you learn your dog's style instead of projecting your own, the relationship gets much deeper. Number 7. Your home feels unpredictable. Dogs do not need a perfect house, but they do need a readable one. If the rules keep changing, if your tone changes with your mood, if one person allows what another person punishes, your dog ends up living inside instability. On the couch one day, off the couch the next, rewarded for excitement by one family member, scolded for the exact same excitement by another. That inconsistency does not create respect. It creates hesitation. And hesitation often looks like stubbornness. The dog pauses because the pattern is not clear. The dog tests because the outcome keeps changing. The dog appears unreliable because the environment is unreliable. This is especially important in multi-person households. A dog is always learning, even when no one is training. They are learning from repetition, tone, and timing, access, and consequence. So if the household keeps giving mixed messages, confusion becomes part of daily life. The practical fix is not harshness. It is clarity. Pick a few rules that truly matter. Keep them simple. Make sure everyone follows them. Use the same cues. Respond the same way often enough that your dog can finally predict the outcome. Predictability is one of the quiet foundations of emotional safety. Number 8. You miss the body language before the problem. Many owners only notice behavior once it is loud, once the bark happens, once the lunge happens, once the accident happens, once the chewing happens. But dogs usually whisper before they shout. They get still. They blink differently. Their mouth closes. Their ears shift. Their weight moves back. They start scanning. They shake off. They avoid. They hesitate. This matters because the earliest moment is the easiest moment. Once your dog is fully over threshold, learning drops and survival takes over. That is when people think the dog is being dramatic, dominant, naughty, or stubborn. But often, the dog was giving quiet information long before the explosion. One of the best real-world habits you can build is this. Start noticing what your dog looks like when they are genuinely okay, not just when they are still. When they are truly relaxed, soft eyes, loose body, easy breathing, natural movement, willingness to disengage and re-engage. When you know your dog's baseline, you can spot stress sooner. And when you spot stress sooner, you can intervene earlier. That one skill alone can prevent countless bad moments. Number 9, you confuse attachment with security. A dog that follows you into every room can look deeply bonded. And sometimes it is healthy attachment, but sometimes it is dependence. There is a difference between "I love being with you" and "I do not know how to be okay without you." That difference matters. A secure dog can seek closeness and still settle independently. An insecure dog often checks for you constantly, shadows your movement, becomes distressed by routine separations, or struggles to rest unless you are physically near. Again, this isn't a diagnosis, and not every clingy behavior is a serious issue. But it can help you tell the difference between a dog who simply enjoys your company and a dog who may need more emotional support and independence building. A useful test is not what your dog does when they are with you. It is what they can do when nothing exciting is happening. Can they relax on a mat while you move around? Can they remain settled after you leave the room briefly? Can they engage with enrichment without constantly checking where you are? If not, the goal is not emotional distance. The goal is resilience. Build tiny, successful separations. Reward calm independence. Teach place. Use food puzzles, sniffing activities, and predictable routines. Do not make every departure and reunion emotionally explosive. A deeply connected dog should not only love being near you, they should also feel safe when you are not immediately available. That is real security. Number 10. You assume love is enough without learning. This is the hardest one because it asks the most of us. Most people love their dogs, truly, deeply, without question. But love, by itself, does not automatically create understanding. You can love a dog and still overwhelm them. Love a dog and still misread them. Love a dog and still repeat habits that slowly create stress. And that is not failure. That is the limit of intuition. The good news is that dogs do not need flawless people. They need observant people. People willing to notice, willing to adjust, willing to say, maybe what I thought was affection actually felt like pressure. Maybe what I called excitement was stress. Maybe what I saw as disobedience was confusion. That humility changes everything, because the moment you stop asking, how do I control my dog better, and start asking, what is my dog experiencing right now, you become safer to live with. And for a dog, that changes the whole emotional climate of life. So here's the thread running through all 10 of these. Dogs do not measure love the way humans do. They measure patterns, tone, pressure, predictability, response, relief. Whether they can communicate and still be heard. Whether your presence lowers stress or adds to it. That is the hidden mind of a dog. And once you start seeing that layer, your relationship changes. Not because you become more controlling, but because you become more aware. At Mr. Hidden Mind, that is what matters most. Not just managing behavior on the surface, but understanding what lives underneath it. Because behind every habit is a feeling. Behind every reaction is a state. And behind every better dog-human bond is someone who finally learned how to listen beneath the noise. If even one part of this video made you see your dog differently, do not ignore that feeling. Use it. Watch your dog tonight, not for obedience, not for performance, for truth. See what they do when they feel safe. See what changes when you slow down. See what happens when your love becomes easier for them to understand. This is Mr. Hidden Mind. We do not just look at what dogs do. We look at what their behavior has been trying to say all along.